welcome to I Know You Are Listening, the show where we talk directly to the creators. We are your hosts, Johnny Blaze and Ben Hooper.
Which one
Although,
is which, we'll leave that up to you to decide.
I will never tell. We are going to get into the finest sci-fi movie I've seen in a long time, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command.
Every hero has a beginning. Every hero has an arch-enemy. Every hero has someone to rescue. Every hero lives for the thrill of adventure.
I'll bet that one scratched the paint.
And this is Toy Story's hero. Disney and Pixar present Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. The Adventure Begins, starring Tim Allen. Now available on video and DVD.
The beginning, the start, there's another.
The movie film for straight to video.
The motion picture.
It's a movie in the same way that like every Disney cartoon of the 90s and early 2000s started with a blank, the movie.
I did a little research. We're doing this because Lightyear is probably coming out around now.
The remake.
How is this lore even going to work? Is this like some sort of Calvin timeline?
Well, I imagine, just judging from the most recent Lightyear preview, that is even backstory than this.
Yeah,
like, this is like how he became Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, whereas in Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, the series, the movie, straight to video, he's already established space ranger with several dead partners and hard-boiled personality.
Yeah, he's gone all Dirty Harry. 2000, good year for direct to straight to whatever hard media at home they had then. Was it VHS tapes? Was it DVDs? Was it stone tablets?
Was VHS tapes, because you know this because of the intro scene at the beginning, the little meta bit with the characters from Toy Story popping in their VHS tape.
A beautiful scene, I might add. Tim Allen's back and hardly anybody else.
I loved and hated it.
It was funny, and I was thinking, like, is this going to be part of the Lightyear movie? Are they going to have a fun little Toy Story scene? Are the toys going to pop in the videotape, and then we're going to see CGI Chris Evans?
Or are they going to make it even worse and have CGI Chris Evans have a emotional scene with his Woody doll?
I'd love that. I'm hoping
Woody doll based on Woody from the popular film Toy Story of my youth.
I'm hoping we get one of those like middle act, third act twists they kept out of the trailers where he arrives on the cowboy planet. And then we just get CGI Woody played by Chris Pratt.
This scene in particular immediately bugged me. Like, I like the idea of it. I think that's a really funny concept and getting meta and weird. But the second...
Somebody put it in the tape! Put it in! My tiny arms can't reach!
Okay. Hold your horses, Rex.
Put it in!
Gosh, it's stuck.
Ah!
Just kidding.
That not Tom Hanks came out of Woody. It was like when Jim Henson died and Kermit the Frog initially got recast, and you just hear it and you go, "Ooh, no, wrong."
They were trying though, and God bless them. They almost had it, but it's like Tom Hanks's brother. It's Colin Hanks. I don't know, but they're trying, and I was just like, at least it's not a Woody movie,
right?
But Tim Allen's back, Kalamazoo's own.
Yeah, for apparently this and only this. Like, for the rest of the show, it was Patrick Warburton,
who is also awesome.
Why do you ask?
You know, Buzz, it wouldn't hurt you to open up. Admit it, you'd rather be tracking down Torque than doing roadside service.
Listen up and listen good. When duty calls, the Ranger answers. No questions, no complaints.
And Torque's escape?
It's got Zerg's fingerprints all over it. Oh, I cannot believe that Rocket Crockett is out there chasing space scum while I'm stuck in a low-rent, any fuzzy-faced rookie one day out of the academy can do an asleep assignment.
That's pretty open.
Thank you.
Who is
I
awesome. Love
I
Patrick
also,
Warburton.
doing my researcher's thoroughness, I watched at least part of one of the TV show episodes, and love the Warburton portrayal as well. I mean, Tim Allen's great. It's classic. Tim Allen also did Galaxy Quest. He can do a space captain like nobody's business.
You fail to realize that with your armor gone, my ship will tear through yours like tissue paper.
And what you fail to realize is my ship is dragging mines.
But also, yeah, Patrick Warburton is one of the greatest voice actors just in general, and he does an amazing job doing a Joe Swanson, like around the same time Joe Swanson was a thing, 99, 2000. I did a whole bunch of research. I found an interview with the creator, or a creator of it, about the movie, and his son was like doing the interview. It was really interesting. The YouTube algorithm was just like, you liked the movie? Try this video, this interview. And it was really interesting. This movie was actually made after the show was basically already made. They when the the 65 episodes were first created and animated, they were kind of planning it out, and some Disney or whoever, yeah, I think it was a Disney executive, because he mentioned Michael Eisner being in the room, was like, "Oh, this can't come out before Toy Story 2. It'll wreck our synergy." And Eisner was just like, "Yeah, it'll wreck our synergy." And
No,
so
my synergy.
the team, I guess, had I don't remember the story. I only watched it once in passing, but they had time and were like, why don't we throw together a movie, an origin movie? And it was made. And I thought about it while I was watching this. It was like everything kind of seems prequely. Like they sort of know what's coming, as opposed to they're figuring it out. Like you said, a 4 episode movie,
Like
the just
Gargoyles the movie
like
is
Gargoyles
the
the
first
movie
6 episodes.
or Justice League the movie. They
Yep,
are just
first
the
3 episodes.
and that's fine. Those are great. I love both of those. But you can, they don't have things figured out yet. It's the beginning of a show. It's got a beginning of the show feel. This, when I sort of had a weird feeling about it, but didn't think about it much. But yeah, there's a sense that they kind of know where things are going. Uh, in that opening scene, as soon as his partner arrived on the scene, I was like, bad guy. He's turning bad.
No sign of the missing personnel.
Hey! Come on, buddy. Nobody ever reads those reports.
Warp, my friend.
Really,
this
I
dude,
immediately was like, new favorite character.
well,
His name fucking Warp Dark Matter. Cool name as hell. Much sweeter facial hair than Buzz's like weird little swirly soul patch.
yeah, very evil universe version of Buzz vibes. But I was watching the show, and that's just in the title sequence, him being there evil without his mask on. If I had even watched one of those episodes or remembered one of those episodes, it would have been a spoiler. But watching it, I was like, this dude is obviously gonna go rogue, because he was like, he didn't care about the
No,
little
that
green
was like
men.
incredibly obvious.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I don't think they're trying to hide it. And yeah, in hindsight, it's
No,
because
he's dead.
they already knew, and they weren't gonna hide it. But yeah, I want to go back and say I did not watch this show at all as a kid.
I did not either. This is
I
my
watched a
first
lot of
like real
cartoons,
exposure.
and I think I was like a little too old, or I don't think it was on the network I was watching. If this was like a WB show, I didn't really watch WB as much as, or I watched maybe the anime WB, like
I
Pokemon,
don't think it was a
Digimon.
WB show. I think it was syndicated. Because I remember I would get up and watch cartoons before catching the bus even to high school, which is where I was in 2000. And there would be commercials for this show was going to be coming on like after I would have already left to catch the bus. So I never actually caught this show, but I remember commercials for it in like early morning Fox Kids lineup.
Yeah, I think it was just not on my radar. It was just outside my radar. And I've never been like a big Toy Story person. I like the first one. I like the third one. I've seen the second one once. I barely remember it. I
Second one's
forgot.
good.
I
I
forgot
am a
the
big
fourth
Toy
one was.
Story person. I am a big Toy Story person, which I guess makes it weirder that I never really watched this, but now that I have watched it, like, not really. Don't
Well, it's the
necessarily need to recommend this to Toy Story fans.
Yeah, it is the spin-off. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend if you are just like a Toy Story fan, whatever. If you are a sci-fi fan, fuck it. It's an hour. It's not bad. I thought it was kind of cute and fun, and there's a lot of good like sci-fi callbacks to especially Star Wars and Star Trek. Like the creators clearly know. If you have a kid and want to watch something, it's free on YouTube for now. Get on it.
I had somewhat conflicting feelings about this film. It was both much better than I expected, and also still pretty bad.
That's fair. It's not like a classic. I wouldn't call it like
Yeah,
so bad it's good or it's an ironic classic. It's not a chore,
right.
which is a plus
Yeah,
for a
it does
movie like
breeze
this.
by, which is part of what I think made it much better than I was expecting.
Hmm.
But there was like it's from 2000, so it's 22 years old, but it feels even dateder than that to me. Like this to me feels like an early 90s cartoon.
It
It
feels
has
very
very like early 90s like not quite like Ninja Turtles, but like the back end of the Ninja Turtles knockoff era, Street Sharks, Biker Mice from Mars type
yeah.
sensibilities and aesthetic.
The main producers or some of the main producers had come off of stuff like Young Hercules and like those Disney shows that are, rip-offs of the movies for like a
Right.
series.
I only
It,
ever
it
really
is
watched Aladdin the series,
Yeah, I watched some
which
Aladdin.
I
I watched
loved.
a little bit of Timon and Pumbaa. That one was more of just it was on adjacent to things I cared about.
Mm.
Um, a little bit of Hercules, but and this show is the same thing. It's just doing it for Toy
Yeah.
Story.
I'd say the thing that kind of like kills it for me, why I like can't quite like it as much as certain aspects of it make me want to like it. I think the humor is terrible. This
It's
show is extremely not funny, or this movie is extremely not funny, and it's wild to me because there are shows of that time and earlier in that like early 90s to early 2000s period that I think like are still kind of funny even where they're bad. Like this just has like the worst humor, like jokes like a cadet squishing up against the window because he's bad at flying, and the
lot of very basic physical comedy for sure. Like,
yeah.
oh, I'm a dope and I fell on my face. Um,
It felt like they added a lot of comedy into the animation because they forgot to script more jokes. Like there were some little bits that were almost clever that were kind of good, like Zurg.
Fire! Zergatronic Mega Ray! Firing Zergarific Ray! Zergatronic, you lackwits!
Sorry.
Zergarific's not bad, though. Let's file it for future use.
Almost lands. There
Zurg is
were
the Zurg is the best part of the movie, and
mhm.
I'll credit that to auto-tuned Wayne Knight.
Okay, naturally, the first step is to turn the Unimind from good to evil, but, we don't have any idea how, see, we're on the way.
Wayne! If you want something turned evil, turn it evil yourself. That's what Nana Zerg always used to say to me, and she was plenty evil.
uh,
Mhm.
Turning in a pretty great performance. In my notes, auto-tune Wayne Knight is checks to see current social reputation, a treasure.
A highlight of it, although like having your villain be the funniest character kind of undercuts. I know I'm taking this fucking movie show like way too seriously, but
Well,
it undercuts any sort of stakes in it.
they have the ultimate straight man as their main character. He's so
Right.
straight they'd use that for jokes that he's as stiff as a board. But
Right,
that's
he's
why they
such a
had.
straight man that there's a bit that goes on way too long about how you're not allowed to get nose rings. Why is this bit still going? It has been 2 minutes.
I didn't like how it started, but I did like the punchline of that one. Um, it did feel like unnecessarily dogging on facial piercings, so you don't want kids getting
Right?
nose
Like, you
rings.
mean in the future, you still can't have a nose ring and be a space ranger? Like,
So
maybe if your issue is like, well, what if you go through a magnetic storm? Like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense, I guess.
well, this show is on top of kind of the 90s feel. You say it's also very after school special,
Mhm.
and that kind of can kill a little bit of the vibe. I thought the humor was fine. It's it's nothing I'll bust my sides over, but I wasn't cringing. There is a lot of very normal propaganda for the time, which isn't, annoying, but you'll find that everywhere in shows of that, and it kinda is part of that after school special feel that I'm sure was just part of the mandate of making a show directed at kids, whether it was self-imposed or an FCC thing,
Well, I
they
do wanna mention,
they
while we're
wanted to make
talking
it
about
very cool.
the the Jokers, about the jokes in this, that there were, like, 2 or 3 jokes in this that genuinely got a reaction out of me,
I had
that I wanna
one
make
that I wrote down that I laughed, at least, but I laughed at least a couple times. What were you gonna say?
I wanna make sure that I highlight these so that I'm not just bagging on it. Uh, the scene where the janitor characters, Robot Earthworm Jim and, Big Fat Soft Voice Man, are chilling in the spaceship, and the robot is reading a Victoria's Circuits catalog. That is classically 2000s horny joke, and
Yep.
I approve of that one.
No, I like a safe, clean 90s horny joke.
Right, safe, clean, horny humor for
'Cause some of
kids.
them, some of them ain't. Some of them are, like, chasing girls who don't wanna be chased, and that's not funny,
But you know
but
that there's, like, some 15-year-olds who were watching this in 2000 and going,
my dad's got those!
"Yeah, my
I
dad." There was one other joke that I really liked was
And then.
Go, man!
Blast! Rangers, condition status.
Not good.
Excellent, let's roll.
What now? That's not a spacecraft. It's obviously a weather balloon. Let's leave the brain work to those with the brain, shall we?
I had a fun little chuckle, nostalgia, "Hey, that's funny," with the, Taigen ghosting powers.
She's from the planet Tangia.
Of course, Tenjian ghosting powers.
Ghosting then what it means now.
right.
That's
I
why I
didn't
can't
quite
find a date.
get it at that point, but when they brought it back up later, when he's like, "Oh, now you're ghosting me?" That's when it
That
hit
joke
me, and I
got
was like,
funnier over time.
"That's accidentally hilarious. Well done, Disney straight-to-video staff."
And then there's, like, 2 really great references, that I noted, one from Star Trek, one from Star Wars. She does the,
Good night.
Tenjian brain squeeze.
Mhm.
and she's kinda has, like, a Vulcan vibe where she's just got, like, powers and abilities that are convenient.
Right,
Um,
yeah, well, they're putting together a team. They've got leader guy, they have special abilities guy, that's, Mira,
Mira,
Nova, and then you've got,
Alien Kim Possible,
yeah, and then you've got the gadgets guy, the robot XO, X1,
XL, LR.
XL?
XR? Who's XR?
Not who, what Witness the future of space justice. XR, the Experimental Ranger.
XR reporting for duty.
Kinda short, isn't he?
XLL. He's 2 letters. You got the wet behind the ears janitor booster.
Who's also
Booster?
their big guy.
Yeah.
Come on, Booster, this is the 3rd time this week. You know you're really not authorized to be in here, son.
Oh, I know. But I like to look at the Star Cruisers. I just want to be a Space Ranger so bad, Buzz.
They're big guy, but like somehow doesn't really do big guy stuff.
That cyborg super hench, Agent Z, Warp, or whatever, Warp Dark Matter, he came off that slab like Darth Vader 3 years early. I think George Lucas was taking notes. Thought he was gonna come
Probably
off.
just mad as hell that Warp Dark Matter was already taken. The first thing I wrote down about while watching this movie was Warp Dark Matter is the most George Lucas ass name I have ever heard.
I know he wishes he could use that for a smuggler in a future movie. The other, speaking of references, that other reference I wanted to say, that was the Star Trek one. The Star Wars one I liked was when they are killed by Zurg and they're floating away from debris. It seems to be shot in a similar way to the Millennium Falcon, drifting
Right, being on
away.
the underside of the yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
It felt similar. Only for a moment, but enough for my nostalgia neurons to kick in.
Ah,
Um,
sweet dopamine.
yeah, exactly. Another point I wanted to bring up about Zurg, and the new Lightyear movie coming out, he's gonna be voiced by James Brolin. Bob,
I did not know this.
and I hope you did the MCU math. So Lightyear is gonna have
Right.
Captain America fighting Thanos' dad.
Sure. Well,
Amazing.
I mean, this one kinda was just a Buzz versus, Al's Toy Barn Giant Chicken rematch.
It's also kind of like Home Improvement versus Newman. I think the main thing is this is entirely watchable. If you like sci-fi, especially if you have like a kid with you, fucking watch it. It's not bad.
Right,
Any last
it does go quick, and, it was a lot more watchable than I was actually expecting. Like, I was thinking back to things from that era that I did, like, occasionally watch, and how even at the time I was like, "Haha, this is terrible." Like, its closest cousin, probably the Mighty Ducks animated series where they were actual ducks from space that played hockey. And I think this was better. I mean, granted, I haven't watched that since 2000.
But
There
this isn't Batman Beyond Return of the Joker that came out that
No.
year. No fucking way. If you want a good animated movie from that year, watch that. Watch Titan
But make
AE is
sure that
better
you're
than this.
watching the unrated version and not the US TV edit.
If you're not seeing a skeleton, you're not watching it.
Right. You wanna see
Uh,
the brutal murders. There
and
is one thing I wanna make sure to mention before we run out of time,
I've got
and
one more. I suspect it's the same thing. I
that's
just
the
wanna
thing that made me laugh the hardest in the whole freaking movie, and that is
the
William
credits?
Shatner end credits song.
To infinity and beyond. Turn those thrusters on. Faster than the speed of light, we will carry the fight to infinity and beyond.
Yes.
To infinity
Oh
and beyond.
my god. The price of entry alone.
Yeah, it was worth the whole hour.
Yeah, watch them, don't skip to it. Just watch the movie and let it just happen organically. Just get to the credits after watching an hour-long little G-rated love letter to sci-fi, and it
Right.
hits you like a warm blanket. I don't really
William
have any.
Shatner, we know you're listening. Stop arguing with SJWs on Twitter and record more Buzz Lightyear songs.
Yeah, just do more spoken word sci-fi stuff. That's fun. I'm sorry we made fun of it in the 2000s, but it's aged well.
Mhm.
I know you're listening, Disney. I really only want a joke about Chris Evans fighting Thanos' dad out of Lightyear. That's all I really want. The rest of the movie, I'm sure it's fine.
If warp dark matter isn't in it, like, at all, I'm
Riot.
gonna be so pissed.
Is it even a Buzz Lightyear movie if warp dark matter isn't there? But yeah, thanks for joining us. Tune in next week where we dissect a dragon. Uh, that'll probably be the
Yeah,
topic.
we
I don't
might.
know. We're just gonna make it up. I don't know.
You can't prove that we aren't, unless you're watching this a week late and you know that we didn't.
And then it's too late. We got away with it. All right. Well, that's enough about Buzz Lightyear.
I've been Johnny Blaze.
And I've been Ben Hooper. And I know you're listening.
And beyond. We're blasting through the dawn to another galaxy. Won't you come along with me to infinity and beyond? To infinity and beyond. Turn those thrusters on. Faster than the speed of light, we will carry the fight to infinity and beyond.
Good guys, we can fly far across the starry sky, past the moon and past the sun, with no good deed left undone.
There is a place in outer space where you can join in the fun. To infinity and beyond. We will sing this song. So say goodbye. Now it's time to fly to infinity and beyond.
Good guys, we can fly far across the starry sky,
Past the moon and past the sun, with no good deed left undone.
There is a place in outer space where you can join in the fun.
To infinity and beyond. We will sing this song. So say goodbye. Now it's time to fly to infinity and beyond. So say goodbye. Now it's time to fly to infinity and beyond.